What's up, Jets Nation, and welcome back to another episode of the Juicy Jet Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Rooney, and we are here to recap one of the most disgusting, pathetic, unacceptable losses of the season, where the New York Jets lose to the New England Patriots, their arch rival, at home, 42-10, to shut down MetLife for the New York Jets this year. What an embarrassing display by the New York Jets. And look, I go to a ton of games. I go to all the home games. I go to all the away games. And just when you think we are at the lowest of the low and you've seen the worst football you can possibly watch, the Jets take it one step lower. And look, for me, we all wanted the Jets to lose. We knew that if the Jets lost this game, they could get a better position in the draft standings, and they did that and more, but you did not expect this performance. So we're going to talk all about it. We're going to talk about this game. Not a lot. We're going to talk about a little bit of my thoughts. We're definitely going to talk about Aaron Glenn and the future of this team. We need to talk about some of the amazing accomplishments the Jets have broken records and created history for. And then finally, we'll talk a little bit about what do you need to root for the Jets to fall even farther down the draft standings into the 1-2 pick in the draft. So let's get going. First of all, the fact that you walk into that stadium and it is 80% Patriots fans and they are your arch rival at home, this is what the Jets do to you. They put you in this position where the team is so bad that it's just an absolute takeover. The team is getting booed running out of the tunnel because there's so many Patriot fans there. It's so embarrassing. And the fact that we are 15 years into this rebuild and we feel no closer. We actually feel the farthest I've ever felt, I think, from making the playoffs in this exact moment today. Man, it's bad, and I get it. You look at this game, you've got an undrafted rookie free agent starting. You're playing against one of the best teams in the AFC. You're playing against a great coach. You've got an MVP caliber quarterback on the other side. There are people on our defense that you've never heard of before and will probably never hear from again. Our starting team, if you look at our starting receivers and tight end, now let's go starting receivers, none of them were on the team to start the year. You look at our starting D tackles, none of them were on the team in training camp. So I understand all the issues. But the problem is when the effort isn't there and the players who are actually supposed to be good aren't buying in, and the fact that we can just let a quarterback like Drake May throw 5 touchdowns, have a near perfect passer rating in QBR, and they could have thrown more. He got sat down in the middle of the third quarter. We were down by 30 at halftime. Before the game, I did a prediction post on TikTok. You can see it before every game. I try to find a friend, family member, someone random to just do a game prediction with me. I had my family do predictions, and everyone picked a blowout. My dad picked 42-10. And I said, that is a horrible prediction. There is no way we are going to lose 42-10. And he got it exactly right. Insane. But that's what you get when you have someone who's been a fan for over 50 years watching a game that he's probably seen a million times before. You nail it right on the head. So this was just unbelievable. Now for me, I felt like I barely watched this game. I think I left in the middle of the third quarter, maybe towards the end of the third quarter, because it was too much. I think the defense was just god awful. I mean, I saw no effort from maybe Malachi Moore showed some effort. Everyone else was just a disaster. People are running wide open. I don't think Drake May was touched once. It was just insane. He was 19 of 21, 256 yards, 5 touchdowns. It's crazy. They had 155 yards rushing. Stephon Diggs had over 100 yards, a touchdown. Ramondre Stevenson, touchdown. Hunter Henry, a touchdown. I don't even know this guy's name. Chisholm, some undrafted wide receiver, scoring a touchdown on us. He had 2 catches for 40 yards. Austin Hooper, touchdown. It's just anyone who decided to play that day got a touchdown. It was just, the defense was just so embarrassing. And we have a defensive-minded head coach. And you're telling me, and I don't care the quality of player, anyone in the NFL, you are the best, probably 2-3 players on your college team. You are the best of the best. There is no way you should let a team beat you this badly by going 19 for 21 and then having Josh Dobbs go 3 for 4. It's absolutely insane. And the effort is really the problem for me. The fact that they could not get up for a game against an arch rival like this is just mind-boggling. I don't understand. Is it Aaron Glenn? Are they not buying into this? Are they just so set on the fact that we're tanking and they're out? They just know that Cancun is right around the corner and they don't want to play anymore? What are you going to do? I mean, from my perspective, it was just horrible. It was absolutely horrible. And then on the other side of the ball, you've got Brady Cook, who obviously can't be an NFL quarterback. He's got to be one of the top or the bottom two quarterbacks that have played at all this year. He just doesn't look like he can run the offense. I thought there were some glimmers of hope when he played a few games against like Jacksonville and things like that, but it's gotten worse since then. The sacks are just not good. The turnovers just are not good. It's bad, and obviously he's not the one who gives us the best chance to win. But we are purposely tanking, and that's what Aaron Glenn is doing. So what are you going to do? But and then finally, let me just hit on the special teams because Austin McNamara, for the first time in history, I've never seen this in my life. We faked 2 punts on the same drive. Austin McNamara completed a pass. The guy could do it all. Nick Folk hit his field goal. He was 1 for 1. He's only missed once this entire year. So yeah, special teams still does what it's supposed to do. But man, I am just really, really disappointed. And if we lost by 14, fine. But we have been one of the worst teams in NFL history in the past 5 games. Let me read this out to you because this is just absolutely insane. The New York Jets. So congratulations to all the Jets fans out there. We have had the worst December in the history of the NFL. No team has ever had a worse point differential in the month of December. The New York Jets have lost by more than 23 points in the last, 4 straight games. We lost to the Dolphins 34-10, the Jaguars 48-20, the Saints 29-6, and now the Patriots 42-10. And guess what? We're going to Buffalo next week. It's only going to get worse. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Now let's talk about one more amazing stat. The New York Jets still do not have an interception. Their defense has not gotten a single interception this year. That is 16 straight games, an NFL record that just keeps growing. And I can't believe we're going to go a whole season without one interception. It is absolutely blowing my mind. It is the most unbelievable stat you will ever hear in your life. Interceptions are lucky. I almost caught a pass yesterday at the game. It hit my hands. I'm in the stands. These guys are on the field. They can't catch a pass. I've caught more passes from players in warm-ups this year, standing in, literally in my seat, than they have this year on defense. It's unbelievable. This is going to go down as one of the greatest, most lol Jets, most hilarious things that you will ever see in the history of the NFL is the fact that they've never gotten an interception. And the worst part about this is Aaron Glenn. Now, for me, I started to feel all warm and fuzzy about Aaron Glenn when we won 3 out of 5 and we were playing competitive football. The problem I have with what's going on right now is no one believes in this guy. You can tell the team is not bought in. No one is trying. And he is a defensive-minded head coach. He is a former legend of this team who was a ball-hawking cornerback. And we can't get an interception. We can't stop anybody. Our point differential is worse than it's ever been. And it just feels like there's no hope. So there are plenty of Jets fans out there today that are saying, fire Aaron Glenn. We've seen enough. Why would we give him the keys to $100 million in salary cap space? And why would we give him 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years? Why would we do that? It would be such an outlier for him to be successful now because he started, oh my God. If you look in the history of football, I think, who has this? I think it's Jake Asman always shows it. In the history of football, how many people have started 0-7, or I think it was probably less than that. It was 0-5 or something like that in their first year of coaching and eventually made the playoffs. And there's 3 coaches. It's Dan Campbell, Kyle Shanahan, and one other guy. So it would be such an outlier for Aaron Glenn to do well and be successful. And I want him to do well. I'm rooting for him. I don't want my last memory of Aaron Glenn to be that he was the worst coach in Jets history. I want it to be that, hey, he was a great cornerback and he turned this team around and got us to the playoffs as a coach as well. But man, it's just, you look at every good coach in the league, they are calling plays. Every good coach is an expert on their side of the ball, calls the plays, runs that side of the ball. You look at Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay. You look at D'Amico Ryans. You can look all across the league. They're calling plays. This guy can't do it. And he's watching this defense just fall apart week after week, and he's not getting involved at all. Now, I have no idea what happens behind the scenes. I'm not sure. He seemed to make Steve Wilkes the guy who was, the problem, but now it looks worse. And I get it. We're at the end of the year. We don't have any players that are probably going to be on this team next year. So, this is going to be like 50, 60% of the roster is going to get turned over, which is going to be crazy. But do you trust him? Do you trust him to let him be the guy in control of the $100 million in cap space and 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years, including 2 second-round picks, and now we're including 2 second-round picks from this year? I don't know. I'm like very nervous about this because we look bad. We look lifeless. We don't look like anyone's bought in. He made the decision. Now, one thing we have to remember, I'm going to say good things about Muji, but Aaron Glenn is the head of this organization right now. So anything that Muji does, Aaron Glenn probably had to be involved in. So when we say Muji did really great with the trades, when we say all that kind of stuff, that means Aaron Glenn also did well because he's in that room. He's probably making the decision and the final sign-off for Muji to do these things. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are the ones who brought in Justin Fields. Aaron Glenn had the guts to stand up there at the podium and say that Mike Tomlin didn't coach Justin Fields correctly and we were going to coach him right. Did Justin Fields get any better this year? He got worse. He had one of the worst seasons in his career, and he is not a good quarterback. So are you going to trust him to bring on a first-round rookie quarterback and develop him into someone really good? I haven't seen anyone develop. Brady Cook's looked worse since he started. Tyrod Taylor hasn't played. And Justin Fields is now, the relationship is so damaged, we have to cut him and eat his money. And then he walked in and he got rid of Aaron Rodgers out of nowhere too, which I get it. It made sense. It's fine. But man, who wants to come here? Who wants to come play for Aaron Glenn right now? So I'm going to be very interested to see what he does this offseason because I actually don't think he's getting fired. I don't think there's a chance. Even if we lose by another 26 points on Sunday to the Bills, I don't think he's getting fired. But man, I am really nervous. I'm really nervous we're going to do this thing where we keep him around. We go 2-7 to start the year next year, and he's fired midseason, and we're starting all over again. And the rookie quarterback we just got is messed up. And look, it worked out for the Bears. The Bears fired their coach last year while they had Caleb Williams, and then they brought in Ben Johnson, and Ben Johnson did it. But who is the Ben Johnson of next year? Like, I don't know who these candidates are. There's no one that's really, like, popping out to me as exciting. Unless, like, one of these really good coaches gets fired, and in which case, why would one of those coaches want to come work for Woody Johnson? I don't know. So we're in a conundrum right now. It's a really tough place, and it doesn't feel like a lot of hope. The only hope we have is the fact that we do have this arsenal of cap space and draft picks where Aaron Glenn could turn it around quickly. It's just the odds are very much against him to do so. We will be rooting for him. We want him to do well, but man, there are Jets fans that are out for his head right now, and I do not blame them at all. Man, I'm riled up. I'm really pissed about how this season went. And I think when you look back on the season, I think one of the things that really threw me off, and I think it threw every Jets fan off, is the fact that Aaron Glenn came in and right away said, we are going to win. We are for winning now. We're going to build sustainable success and win now. He probably overrated the roster. He probably said, look at all these pieces I have. We're going to be really good. We'll be fine. Then as he got through training camp, he was like, oh, shoot, we have no defensive tackles besides Quinnen Williams. Oh, shoot, we don't have wide receivers. We don't have the pieces we need. We don't have a kicker. So he's signing all these guys last second who weren't in camp with us. Oh, we need a slot cornerback because Michael Carter's not good anymore. So we're making all these trades out of nowhere. Then we start off 0-7. We start off 0-7. This guy comes in saying, we're going to win now. And we start off 0-7. And that threw off everything because then he realized we do not have the talent to win. And we definitely don't have the coaching. Our quarterback's coach is a former running backs coach. He's never been a quarterback's coach. So I don't know what he's doing on this team, Charles London, which is crazy. Our defense and our defensive coordinator were not good, and he realized that pretty quickly. So then it's, shoot, we got to get some assets to rebuild for the future. That's when you trade away Sauce, you trade away Quinnen, you trade away Michael Carter. So you get all these assets. Now it's like, okay, we got rid of some of those guys. Let's see if these other guys we pulled in can play well. You had Mechie play well for a few games, A.D. Mitchell play well. You had Jarvis Brownlee play well. The defense started to settle a little bit, and then all of a sudden, we realized we were out of it. We couldn't come back, and now we've lost 1 million games in a row because we're intentionally tanking by starting Brady Cook. So I think Aaron Glenn did a horrible job of understanding this roster and understanding where we were at and not being straight. If he just came out and said, look, this is going to be tough. We have a lot of work to do here. We're going to bust our ass. We're going to coach well. We're going to do all these things to try to get as many wins as humanly possible. But deep down, what we know that really means is we're rebuilding. Instead, he said, we're in win now mode. We're going to do everything we can to win at all costs. We're going to re-sign our best guys in Garrett and Sauce. We have a great D tackle in Quinn and Williams. And we just signed Justin Fields, so we're going to turn into one of the new great quarterbacks like a Sam Darnold and a Baker Mayfield. And what happened? None of that. We had to get rid of everybody, and this season was over before it started. So it's and then of course he was like fighting with the media. Like if he was just normal to the media, saying yes, like we need to work on XYZ things. Instead, he's fighting back on everybody, making it harder for us to like him. It makes it harder for us, especially when we're losing. If you were doing that when we were winning, fine, go ahead, go yell at the media all you want. I don't care, but you're losing horribly, and you just sound bad. And at the end of this game, he comes out and he blames the effort. He says the effort wasn't there, which is true. I'm not going to rewatch this game. There's no doubt, but just looking on the field, I could see no one was trying. Like it was bad. And then 2, he looked defeated. Like he knew he finally accepted that. Oh shoot, like I might be in trouble. Like Woody Johnson might be looking at me, being like, "Is this the guy?" And then today he comes out in his press conference, and I'm doing this on Monday, and says, no, I actually saw effort. There was definitely effort there. So he's backtracking because he's nervous that if he says there was no effort, that looks bad on coaching, and then he could get fired for it. Oh, man, it's just an endless cycle for Jets Nation, where we're just constantly looking for the next coach. We're constantly looking for a quarterback, and we're never finding them. It's a huge, huge problem, and until we solve it, we will never be good. Now, once again, I am hoping that Aaron Glenn is the guy. I am praying that he's the guy. But I don't know. Chips are stacked against him, and he has to go draft our next quarterback. So we'll see how it goes. One other thing I do want to say about this game, teams aren't respecting us right now either. Like if you look at that Saints game, I got pissed because of the Taysom Hill touchdown at the end of the game. If you looked at the end of half, Mike Vrabel was just like toying with us, calling timeouts to make us keep playing and things like that. He's just throwing touchdowns all over the place. I'll give him props. He did stop. Eventually, he could have put up 65 points on us, but he probably wanted to preserve Drake May, make sure he didn't get hurt for the playoffs and the rest of his team. But he could have put his foot on the gas. And Bill Belichick would have done the same thing, and Bill Belichick would have gone farther, and he would have put 60 up on us. So these teams just aren't. They just like, we can toy with this team, and it doesn't matter because we're not going to throw any picks. We're not going to turn the ball over, and everything's going to be fine. So it's just embarrassing, and Buffalo's probably going to do the same thing with Mitch Trubisky starting next week. I don't know that he's actually starting, but I think he will, and they'll just do the same stuff to us. So it's bad, man. It's bad. I'm not happy. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to keep going to games and just being sad, I guess. I don't know. All right, well, let's look at the positives. The positives of this. Our old buddy, Morgan Moses, by playing in the game yesterday, remember he's the old right tackle for the Jets who went to the Patriots. By playing in yesterday's game, he hit a 90% playing time threshold, which gave him an extra, I think, like $1.5 million on his contract, which actually escalates his total contract value. So now the Jets will be getting a 5th-round compensatory pick for him instead of a 7th-round pick, which is awesome. We're getting more picks that are higher up in the draft, which is great. And we keep losing, so it's going to be higher and higher every single time we get more of these picks. It's great. And you can trade compensatory picks, so if we ever needed to trade it, we totally could. Next thing that happened that was good. The New York Jets lost this game, and the Cleveland Browns did us a massive favor by also losing. So let's pull up Tankathon and see. The New York Jets are now in the 3rd draft spot. So you got the battle of the tank, Vegas and the Giants. The Giants ended up winning. So Vegas, who is also doing everything they can to lose, ends up losing the game. They now have the 1st overall pick. Bad news for us because they'll probably take a quarterback, which is probably Fernando Mendoza. Who knows? They could take Dante Moore if he comes out. And then the Giants are in the 2nd spot. We're in the 3rd spot. Tennessee is 4, and Arizona's 5. So we are sitting pretty. We can't really do worse than 3rd as long as we don't win, which would be almost impossible. Now, there's a lot that does have to happen in this next week that could move us up into the 2nd spot or the 1st spot. I have a very tough time seeing us move to the first spot because that means that the Raiders would have to beat the Chiefs. And the Raiders are, Geno Smith just got hurt. They'll probably sit him. The whole team is just benched. Like Mason Crosby's not playing. No, I didn't say that right. Max Crosby. Mason Crosby's the old kicker. Max Crosby's not playing. So the Raiders are doing everything they can to lock in that number 1 pick and keep it. But let's walk through the scenarios that can get us to the number 1 pick. So if you want the Jets to get the number 1 pick, the Jets obviously have to lose. Tonight, we need the Rams to beat the Falcons. That'll help strength of schedule because we played the Falcons. Then you need the Raiders to obviously beat the Chiefs. The Giants, I think this one's very possible. The Giants over the Cowboys. This can move us up 1 spot, which would be amazing. And that could happen. You could see maybe the Cowboys won't play everybody. They're not going to try as hard. The Giants aren't tanking. They're like actively trying to win football games. So Jackson Dart looked a little bit better last week. So we'll see how that game goes. You need the Titans to beat the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are still fighting for not only the division, but the number 1 seed. So they're probably going to play everybody. So I don't know if the Titans can pull it out. We'll see. Need the Browns to beat the Bengals. That could potentially happen. Both teams kind of stink right now, and they're both out of it. Need the Bears to beat the Lions. We almost got some help last night with the Bears almost beating the Niners, but the Niners ended up pulling it out. That was an amazing game. What a great football game last night, the 49ers and Bears. I'm like, geez, I'm watching a different sport every week. I have no idea. How do you score 5 touchdowns in a game? I've never seen that before. So we're going to need the Bears over the Lions. We need the Chargers to beat the Broncos. That's going to be tough because the Chargers are sitting everybody in preparation for their wild card game. So I know no Justin Herbert. They want to rest him up. So that might be a tough one, and the Broncos are still trying to secure that number 1 seed. And then you need the Patriots to beat the Dolphins. Will probably happen because the Patriots are also fighting for the number 1 seed as well, even though they've just locked up the division. So that is your rooting guide for Week 18, as well as tonight, which is Rams-Falcons on Monday Night Football. We'll see how it goes. I think it's like a less than 2% chance that we get the number 1 pick. We need a lot to go right. But if you can move up 1 spot, if you can just get the Giants to beat the Cowboys, that means you move up 1 spot and we don't have to trade up for a quarterback. That means we just take the second one. So the Raiders go Mendoza, we take Moore or Simpson. Maybe you don't want to take Simpson that high. I don't know. It depends on how they play in these bowl games over these next couple of weeks. Maybe the Raiders, they love to fall in love with upside. They love upside, and a guy like Dante Moore is probably going to end up having a lot more upside, but a much lower floor than a guy like Fernando Mendoza. So maybe they go with Dante Moore, and then we get a Mendoza, which I think for me would be the best case scenario. I would want someone who has that higher floor that's going to be more consistent. But, I got to see how they play in these bowl games. I'm not ready to declare my favorite quarterback yet. So we'll see how it goes. We've put ourselves in a good spot. We were trying to win earlier in the season, and we accidentally beat the Bengals with a backup quarterback, the Browns with a backup quarterback, and the Falcons with a backup quarterback. So even when we were trying to tank, we still won some games. And there's nothing you can do about it. You got your 3 wins. What are you going to do? So now we've got the Arsenal picks. Oh, and the other big one, too. The Colts officially eliminated from the playoffs. They are locked into the 18. The 18 pick in the number 18 pick in the draft. Who do they got this week? Let me see. Where am I? Let me look up Week 18 schedule. Here we go. We got the Colts going up against. Where are the Colts? Jacksonville. It's going to be tough. Oh, no, this was last year. Let's go this year. So they must be playing the Texans. Whew, they're going to lose that game. Yeah, Texans are going to win. So the thing for that pick to move up. So when I look at all the games that we have in play for Week 18, let me just pull them all up. Week 18, 2026 NFL schedule. Let's see here. We got Indianapolis at Houston, 1 o'clock. So we'll know actually where they're going to finish before the Jets play. We also need the Vikings to win. We need the Lions to win. So the Vikings play the Packers. The Lions, who did we say the Lions played? The Lions play, we need the Bears to win for strength of schedule. So that's a tough one. I'd rather move up to the number 1 pick. So we'd rather have the Bears win that game. Any team that is close to the Colts in their record, we want to win so that the Colts get lower than their record, and we need the Colts to just lose. That's the only way we can get that down to like the 15th or 16th pick, which would be amazing. But, can't win them all, so we'll see how it goes. Either way, the fact that that's locked into a top 18 pick is absolutely unbelievable. We're going to have 2 picks in the top 18. We'll have 2 second-round picks, which will both be in the top 50, which is great. We can do some damage this draft. It's just, do we trust the coaching staff and the front office staff to do it? And I think most people are going to say, yes, we feel good about Muji, and no, we feel bad about Glenn, but we'll see how it goes. But all right, I've gone long enough. I've complained long enough. Thank you all for listening, and I appreciate you listening to me all year. This is it. This is going to be my last recording before New Year's, and then we'll do one right before the Bills game on Sunday. And unfortunately, they put us at Sunday at 4:25, which is such a killer. I am going to Buffalo because it is the last game in Highmark Stadium, so I want to try to steal a chair and take it home with me. And so hopefully I'll be able to watch some games in the morning and watch games Saturday night, obviously. But I'll record again on Saturday just to preview everything that's going on with the Jets leading up into that game and kind of go from there. So I appreciate everybody for listening. Thank you for following me for this entire 2025 year. This is my first year doing this, so looking to continue doing it into 2026, especially as the team hopefully, potentially, please God, get better. And we'll go from there. So if you don't follow me already, please like, rate, subscribe, review, and follow all across all the socials, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at JuicyJet25. Thank you all again for listening. I'll talk to you later this week. Have a happy new year. And I'll say it, I don't really mean it this time, but go Jets.